Hello, folks watching from home. I'm Kiana Elkins, the steward behind Solidarity Mail Club. Today, I am here with Kaiya Haywood, who is the artist for our second issue of the Mail Club. Kaiya, do you want to introduce yourself? Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Kaya. I am an infrequent artist and writer, musician, mm, born and raised in Detroit, currently based in Lansing, learning to love life.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. I think Lansing is an interesting place to learn to love life. I won't get into
Yeah.
that more, but yeah, I figured you would agree. So for the artwork, I gave you really broad like guidance. I think I just kind of said like whatever your interpretation or depiction of a freer future is. And so I'm just hoping that you can walk us through what your inspiration is and why you created what you did.
Yeah. So I took a really, really long time to actually get started physically making this postcard. I honestly waited until the day of to start, but it's because I had a very specific vision of what I wanted. I kind of the rough outline of how I wanted it to look, but it was the words that were the hardest for me. It originally started, I wanted to say something about my freedom in relation to my ancestors' freedom. And then that shifted from my freedom in my current state in relation to the freedom of my younger self and somehow getting back to that. And then I was like, do I want this to be more broad? And my freedom is in relation to my friends, my community, people across the world. And I wasn't completely satisfied with the quote that I chose. And the more that I, was creating this piece, I guess you could call it, I think the way in which I did that kind of encapsulates all of those things. My freedom is directly tied to your freedom. My ancestors' freedom. I'm sure I am more than they could have ever dreamed. I, every day, am trying to get closer to the freedom that I had as a child and am learning how to be free again and to be free more in ways that I couldn't have imagined as a young person. And then to that more macro lens, I can't be free until everyone's free and vice versa. So maybe I did do a good job.
I think you did a great job. I love the like statement or phrase that you included on the postcard. And so you kind of shared with us about thinking about your freedom in relation to your ancestors, your younger self, and then sort of just like people as a whole. Um, I'm also someone who thinks a lot about ancestry and freedom between like ancestors and myself and the sort of like collapse of time, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just curious to hear more about how you think about your ancestors and freedom and maybe, why you started there when you were trying to think about the design for this.
Yeah, 24 is a very interesting age. I think on my 24th birthday was thinking a lot about what my parents were doing at my age and how wildly different their life looked compared to mine. At my age, m- I my parents would have had a 1 year old and would have been expecting a second child, and I am nowhere near that. And I think for a minute was thinking I'm so far behind and was feeling a lot of shame about being so far behind. But in so many ways, I'm so far ahead of where they were. And that obviously gets me thinking about like my grandparents and my great grandparents and everyone else that came before them. All of the bad things in my life are nothing compared to what my family before me has experienced. And in a way, I'm not even in a way, I am so, so, so lucky that I get to have the problems that I do. And that, makes me grateful for the problems that I have and thinking about myself as like a future ancestor. I'm so excited to have these problems so that hopefully my kids' kids don't have to even worry about a fraction of the things I do.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, there's like I'll find myself just sitting in like my own complexities and frustrations and everything. And then I do have practices where I like talk to my ancestors, things like that. And then I'll kind of be like, me and my frivolous problems. Like this is really nothing compared to what, like you said, the folks who came before me, what they had to go through and what their lives are like. And then you also talked about freedom in relationship to your younger self and about sort of this like feeling more free as a child or as a young person than you do now. And I'm just curious to hear a little bit about what you were like as a little kid and what that freedom was like for you.
It's honestly such a great question. And I feel like it's hard for me to answer that because I feel like me as a child was everything's so clouded by like anxiety,
Okay.
which I'm sure is not a surprise to anyone. But I really loved art as a child, which is why I chose a lot of the imagery that I did. I was worried about this coming off too childish, but I honestly, that's what I like about it, is that it looks like a child could have made it. And I feel like a child did make this because I was kind of using a lot of my inner child to make this postcard. And I like that, there's stickers on here and like the like letter beads and like glitter and sparkle, which is like what I loved as a child. And I rejected a lot of that. I think as a lot of people do as they get older. And then as I got more older, I embraced a lot of that more.
That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. The I'm just thinking about the sort of like body sensation of allowing your like inner child to come out and play as you're creating, designing this postcard. And I agree with you. I think for a project like this or an invitation like this, it could be easier to go into like adult artist mode and be like, I have to be very serious and like, be representative of my 24-year-old self. But to give us this like playful, childlike imagery and all of that, when I saw it, I felt like I was brought back to the sort of lightness that I felt as a young person and being able to just play. And certainly in that playing, there's like a level of freedom just in that by itself. I think that's so beautiful. Thank you. I am curious to hear if you have like maybe some specific ways that you think about how you would like to see us present day or in the near future, like be more free.
I think that people need to care less, but care so much more.
What a contradiction. Okay.
Some things just are not that deep,
Mhm.
but other things really are that deep and you need to care. I think that people need to care less to be freer, and we all need to care more to be freer. I really don't have a better way to say that or to go more in depth, but like care, but don't.
I am appreciating this because I know that you're a therapist, and so there is something like, I don't know, the therapist profession, and then this being this sort of like,
Yeah.
what I think that we should do is care less and care more. Can you give me like 1 to 2 examples of things that you think that we should be caring less about versus things that you think we should be caring more about?
What do I think we should care less about? My immediate thought was we should care less about what people are doing.
Hmm.
But also, we need to care more about what people are doing.
Yeah.
I think that we should care less about what people are doing in the sense that, like, nothing matters. We are all living for the first time. I don't care if you look weird. I don't care if the thing you're doing is a little strange. I am truly trying to embody, don't yuck my yum, I won't yuck your yum. What should we care more? I think Jaden Smith said it best, the political and economic state of the world. That's what we should care more about. The world is on fire, we should care. And like do
Mhm,
something about it.
mhm, mhm, mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Very big statement, but like stated well. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaden Smith.
Yeah, shout out to Jaden Smith. So my last and final question for you really is just if there is anything left that you would like to say that I haven't like asked you or given you the opportunity to talk about.
It's also a great question. You're a great interviewer.
Thank you.
Anything left? Get the postcard, share the postcard. I hope you enjoy it. Put it on your fridge, send it to a friend. Care about your freedom, care about everyone else's. Do something in the community. Have fun.
Ooh, have fun. I love that. Have fun. Alrighty. Thank you so much, Kai. This has been wonderful. I'm really excited to get the postcard into people's hands and to be able to share this interview and the clips from this interview with folks. I think that you've shared some wisdom here that is very needed at this moment in time. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity.